As requested by Movie Club member Simon over on my Patreon, here's my review of 2008's The Cottage. A pair of bumbling criminals kidnap a gangster's daughter, holding her for ransom in a remote cottage. Their plans go awry, though. The kidnappee becomes the kidnapper, hitmen turn up, and there's a disfigured farmer living nearby who collects severed human heads. Oops. When Simon requested that I review The Cottage, I took one look at the artwork for the film and thought, okay, this movie looks like it's about a group of people who go to a cottage in the woods and are slaughtered by this mean-looking guy. And that happens. But there's a whole lot more going on here. As a matter of fact, at the very beginning, I had to double-check to make sure I had selected the correct movie on Prime. The music that plays over the opening credits certainly didn't seem appropriate for a body count slasher movie. We're quickly introduced to brothers David and Peter, played by Andy Serkis and Reece Shearsmith, respectively. They've kidnapped Tracy, the daughter of a gangster, played by Jennifer Ellison, in order to collect $100,000 for personal reasons. David and Peter are not seasoned criminals, but they are seasoned bickerers. The first act of The Cottage is all about David and Peter, the kidnapping, the kidnappee, why they've kidnapped her, and how quickly and comically their plans fall apart. I had no idea what to expect from this movie, and for most of The Cottage's runtime, it's a comedy, a really smart and amusing comedy aided by Serkis and Shearsmith's performances. I was so captivated and amused by their follies that I completely forgot about this guy. It's British, so the humor is dry, bone dry. It's also rather smart and quite funny. The characters are extremely well written, and each character has their own unique personality. Peter, for instance, is petrified of moths. It's a phobia that comes into play a couple of times during the film, with some rather humorous consequences. Jennifer, the kidnappee, is a beautiful filth-mouth who can do more damage with her hands tied behind her back, literally, than David and Peter on their best day. Then we're introduced to Andrew, who's in on the heist with the fellas, but he's the kind of guy who'd mess up a cup of coffee. Even if you take your coffee black, he'd mess it up. Needless to say, things get worse for the three by the minute. Then they find themselves at the mercy of the farmer. It isn't until about an hour into the cottage before the farmer gets in on the action. He's kind of a Leatherface Jason Voorhees hybrid, but with more of a personality. Even the maniac in this movie has his own unique personality. A disfigured, pickaxe-wielding maniac though he is, he's got priorities. And he's sentimental. He'll still cut you into pieces, though. The Cottage features some great practical makeup and gore effects. We get a My Bloody Valentine-style decapitation via shovel and a Predator-style spinal cord rip out of a victim's back with their head still attached. It's pretty gnarly. The makeup design for the farmer is also pretty cool, and Dave Legeno does an excellent job in that role. Writer and director Paul Andrew Williams also applies some misdirection during the last act of the film, playing on familiar horror movie tropes while diverting expectations. For instance, Williams frames certain shots and allows them to play out in this telegraphed kind of way where you're expecting the farmer to burst through a door behind a character or to materialize out of the darkness over their shoulder. Williams has crafted a multi-genre film here. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure what to call The Cottage, honestly. It's a comedy that never stops being a comedy even when the blood starts to flow. And flow it does. However, when the horror elements kick in, they don't feel forced or out of place. Because despite being gruesome, The Cottage is gruesome in a cheeky sort of way. I also really loved the ending and stick around for the post-credit sequence. The Cottage is a supremely entertaining, highly amusing, extremely well-made film with a phenomenal cast and some great and gory special effects. I loved The Cottage. I cannot recommend it any higher. Huge shout out to Simon for requesting that I review The Cottage. Thank you for your review request, and thank you for being a patron. I appreciate your support. If there's a movie you'd like me to review, follow the link in the description or head over to patreon.com/Pizowell and join the movie club today. Patrons also have the opportunity to join me for monthly patron-only live streams, get discount codes, early access to videos, have a say in what kind of content appears on my channel, get cameo-style videos from Jeremy and I, and a lot more. Again, that link is in the description. If you've seen The Cottage, please let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Thank you to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and have a say in what content appears on my channel. Join me for monthly live streams and much more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.